All right, hello there. Welcome to another We Been Different video. Today's video, we're going to be doing what we do every Thursday the past 2 weeks. Make this 3 weeks. Who to start for fantasy football week 3. Week 1 and 2 has been interesting. Week 2 was very interesting in that there was a lot of comebacks. Week 1 being, well, it's the first week of football because everyone's going crazy. But yeah, week 2 was wild. Obviously, the Dolphins happened. Obviously, the Jets happened. The Cardinals. You know, some crazy stuff. But with that being said, got to move on to week 3. Got to make the right starts. For those of you who are new to this and you're just on YouTube and you're just typing stuff in, and you just came across this video, how we do it is we do not rank the top 20, because if someone's in the top 20, you are 99% of the time going to start them unless your team is a god squad, right? There's a reason why it's top 20. They're really good for the week at least. So yeah, we rank outside of the 20. So from 21 to 50 is what we do. Same with receivers, because we're doing running backs and receivers, as you see on the title of the video. Also, to add to it, from 1 through 10, and then from 11 through 20, and then from 21 through 30, and then from 31 through 40, and last and the least from 41 to 50. I will tell you the 3 players I like from each of those spots the most. That way, if you are that 1% where you just have amazing players and you have a god squad, you can say, hey, I can start Leonard Fournette over Nick Chubb. You know what I mean? It's just like one of those things to where, again, it's very unlikely that your team has that flexibility, but throwing it out there because maybe you're in a trash league or something, or maybe you're just a god manager. I don't know. But yeah, without further ado, let's roll. So if we just jump down all the way to 21, James Robinson's 21 in this ranking. By the way, this is half PPR. James Robinson's a start. He actually took even more of a snap share than he did on week 1, and he looks really good. Now, a lot of you guys are saying, man, he got a lot of carries, not a lot of yards per carry. Once they just established a dominance lead, the Jaguars ran some simple plays up the gut. James Robinson only had to run for 1 to 2 yards because they just, at that point, were kind of just breezing by. And it wasn't really competitive. So I would not worry about that too much. If you saw the game, you know what I mean. But yeah, James Robinson's definitely a start. Kareem Hunt against Pittsburgh, I would personally bench. That's going to be, I think, a low-scoring game. And unless you have Nick Chubb, I would like to stay away from it. Again, Kareem Hunt, on most teams, you don't have the luxury to bench. So that's why I start at 20 anyway. It's because 21 anyway, because it's like you probably have to start him anyway, but on the off chance where you do begin to bench these players is by 21 and below. Miles Sanders, I will start. He looks to be the man of that backfield. Granted, Jalen Hurts still takes all the rushing touchdowns, but the volume alone on an offense that appears to be elite, you got to roll with it. Jeff Wilson, I actually have him on my fantasy squad, and I'm going to bench him this week just because running backs seem to not do very well against the Denver Broncos. You look back at week 1, Seahawks, Rashad Penny. Back at week 2, with Pierce and Burkhead not really doing much, if anything at all. So it could be that they're just not teams that are good at running, but also I think the Broncos are just really good at stopping the run. So for those reasons, I'm not going to start Jeff Wilson, but he's not a bad play by any means. It's just that scares me, if that makes sense. AJ Dillon, I'm going to bench. Tampa Bay defense is insane. Like, they are absolutely insane. I don't want the Cowboys with Dak Prescott got destroyed and clobbered. Couldn't do anything offensively. They go and face the Bengals with their backup QB and they're suddenly better offensively. No, it's not a coincidence. Tampa D is just that good. They even held the Saints to, I think, 3 points. So yeah, I'm not messing with Tampa D. Michael Carter, I think he's a nice flex play start. I prefer not to start him, but I don't think it's a bad start against Cincinnati, who, again, their defense just isn't that good. I wouldn't feel comfortable, but not necessarily uncomfortable as well. It's more of those just like, you want a guy who's going to get you 10 to 15 points. I think he can definitely do that. Tony Pollard against the Giants. That Cowboys, though, still not, I'm not convinced, especially after watching that game. Like, I think during the second half, they didn't do jack crap. Like, they didn't do anything offensively. So I would prefer to bench Tony Pollard if you can. Cam Akers, same thing. Not that his offense isn't good. That backfield is a mess right now. I don't want to touch it. Damian Harris, benching. I don't like New England's offense a tad bit. Like, at all. I'm good. Darrell Henderson, same thing, bench for the same reasons as Cam Akers. Breece Hall, I think Breece and Michael is an interesting duo. But I would prefer to bench Breece Hall and start Michael Carter just because Michael Carter, he seems like the more trustworthy player. Although Breece Hall, again, he shows a lot of flashes of explosiveness and just a lot of immense upside to him. And it feels like any one of these upcoming weeks he could go off. But I feel like Michael Carter being there just massively limits him. So I would bench. Stevenson, bench. You already know why. I talked about it with the other Patriots. I don't want to touch a Patriot. Travis Etienne, bench. James Robinson seems to be the guy back there. And I'm not as good as Travis Etienne looks. James Robinson is clearly the trusted player. Mostert, I'm good. Hasn't looked good. Penny, same thing, hasn't looked good. Bench. Singletary, I just don't think there's a prominent running back in that backfield. I'm going to bench any Bills running back for that reason. Mark Ingram, bench. Garrett Williams, bench. Melvin Gordon, bench. Broncos offense has just looked abysmal. The only one who looks good back there is Cortland Sutton. Jerry Jeudy got hurt week 2, so I won't speak on him, but Russ has not been cooking, and I might have to change my team name because my team name is Let Russ Cook, and he is not cooking at all. So, sad days. Anyway, Jamal Williams, bench. You might be thinking, well, he's been pretty decent. Yes, he has. Week 1, he had 2 touchdowns. Week 2, I don't even think he did anything crazy with DeAndre Swift only having 7 touches. I'm just not interested in having a backup. Well, not so much of a backup. It's more so split work, but he's more of a goal line only back. He's super touchdown dependent. Let's just be honest. But the way that that Lions offense is looking when Amon was touching the ball, or when Swift, again, only 7 touches is touching the ball, I would prefer not to have anyone else, maybe aside from TJ Hawkinson, because, well, for one, he's a tight end. So being a tight end, if you can give me 5 catches, 50 yards, I'll be freaking happy, because the tight end landscape has been gross for the past who knows how long. Chase Edmonds, bench. That Buffalo D, as good as Tua played, clearly it's Waddle and Hill that are the focus, and not Edmonds at all. Hines, I think he's a sneaky start because that could be a high-scoring game, but until that Colts offense picks it up, I'm probably going to pass. Benjamin, bench. Ken Walker, you have to bench. He only played 15-20% of the snaps, if that. Kenyon Drake, bench. Tyler, bench. Kenneth Gainwell, bench. Yeah, all those are just major benches. But this is the part where we say our favorites from 1 through 10. 3 favorites from 1 through 10. And what I said earlier, all the way to 50. So from 1 to 10, my favorites to start this week would definitely be DeAndre Swift at 9. You have to say Jonathan Taylor, obviously. I'm actually not going to say Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to say DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, and Joe Mixon against the Jets. Those are all really, really great starts. Granted, all the other players are fine too, but if I had to pick 3, the 3 here, I'm going to go with, Aaron Jones. No, even then. Javonte, this is honestly, 11 through 20 is kind of tough. You obviously have to start all these guys, but it's not easy. We're going to go Javonte, Montgomery, and Najee, I guess. Even then, Najee hasn't looked spectacular. I don't know. 11 through 20 looks kind of shoddy, surprisingly. 21 through 30, we're going to go James Robinson, Miles Sanders, and Michael Carter. Yeah, I would say those three for sure. 31 through 40, we are gonna go Breece Hall, Melvin Gordon, just because he's still a good player, even though his volume is pretty low for his play. Breece Hall, Melvin Gordon, and then we'll go Yeah, we'll go Singletary because it could be a high-scoring game, and you never know what could happen. And then 41 through 50, we're gonna have to go chase Edmonds, Hines, and I guess McKissick. I don't know. That's just good. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna leave it at 2. We're gonna have to just say Edmonds and Hines and stay away from the others. But yeah, let's go straight to receivers now. So receivers, again, first 20. Y'all starting them anyway. It don't matter what I say. So 21 through 30. Well, I'll just start off like this. CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to say bench. I don't trust that Cowboys offense, as I said before, with Tony Pollard. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. Rashad Bateman. I would like to say start, but New England D is kind of interesting in that, well, they didn't give up a lot of points to either of the first 2 teams they played. Well, the second team was Pittsburgh. The first team was Dolphins, and Dolphins just went off on the Ravens, and they only were held to 20 points. Granted, in the second half, they kind of slowed down a hell of a lot more. So I'd say you start Rashad Bateman, but I'm worried he might not get that long ball touchdown that he's been having the first 2 weeks. Michael Thomas, start. DK Metcalf, I feel like you just have to start. DJ Moore, I would like to bench without a question. McLaurin, if Slay's on McLaurin, you have to start McLaurin, obviously, but not ideal. Allen Robinson the second, start against an Arizona D that's not good. Brandon Ayuk. I guess it depends who you have. I would try to bench him if you could, but I don't think it's a terrible start. Curtis Samuel, start. Amari Cooper, bench. I'm benching Amari Cooper to the end of the days, and it doesn't help that they're playing Pittsburgh. 31. Juju Smith-Schuster. I feel like a lot of people where they drafted him, they have to start him. If you have the luxury of benching him, bench him, because KC offense, clearly Patrick Mahomes is lying. They're going to spread that thing around. It is not one guy anymore at all. Tyreek and Travis are just not, like, it was always them two. But now it just seems the only consistent is going to be Travis, and the rest is a toss-up. So I would try to bench Juju. Where you drafted him, you're probably going to start him if we're being honest. Adam Thielen against the Lions. I feel like that could be a high-scoring game. They're clearly force-feeding Justin Jefferson, though, so he's just definitely going to be second in targets always. And they might get Dalvin Cook going, so I would try to bench him, but it's honestly not a bad start if you're looking for someone to nab a touchdown or maybe to try to get 20-plus points, because it could be a high-scoring game. Tyler Lockett, start. I just don't think Atlanta D is very good. Darnell Mooney, bench until further notice. Elijah Moore, it's pissing me off because I've been watching every Jets game because I'm a huge fan of Elijah Moore. And it just seems like as much as he gets open, Garrett Wilson's getting more open, if that makes sense. And the defenses have done a great job of, even when he appears to be open, they have someone behind him and in front of him. It's like not man, but every time they're in that zone, he's damn, it might as well be a double based off of how much closer they are to him. It's like you can't really throw it anywhere. And then when Garrett Wilson's doing his thing, you might as well just get it to the open guy. So Elijah Moore, I'd bench until further notice. Garrett Wilson, I honestly would start. Like, the dude just dropped 30 points on PPR. Keep it going, right? I mean, you have to keep it going. I think that Elijah Moore's the better player, but this guy's got the hot hand right now. So roll with that. Johan Dodson at start. That's probably gonna be a high scoring game. Probably, unless Philly D just clamps up. I know I said Terry was scary, but I don't think Jahan Dotson's going to be getting the Slay treatment. I think that's definitely going to be Terry. Joshua Palmer, I don't think it's a terrible start if Keenan's out still. He just got a lot of snap usage. I think he was in there like 90% of the time, around that number, so not a bad start at all. Chris Olave, I'm benching. I don't like Saints O at all. The only one I would want to start from that offense literally is just Michael Thomas until Kamara comes back. Hunter Renfrow, I mean, you could start him, I guess, but I'd prefer to bench. Julio Jones, if he's healthy, you start. He looked amazing when he was in that week 1. Even though he didn't drop a whole lot of points, he showed flashes of old Julio, which is really nice to see. Devonta Smith at 42. Honestly, that's not a bad start in what could be a high-scoring game. And Washington D isn't great either. So Devonta Smith, I honestly would probably start him. Jacoby Myers, benched. I don't want to touch New England players. Allen Lazard, benched. The only Green Bay players I would touch is A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. The rest, their whole receiving corps and their tight ends, no. Treylon Burks is actually looking solid. If you're looking for someone that's a nice sneaky flex play, you might want to just roll with him. He hasn't been bad at all. Sterling Shepard, I don't want to touch a giant other than Saquon, so I'm benching all of them. If you wanted to, though, he's getting a lot of runs, so you could. Russell Gage, bench. Not a fan. And even then, he hasn't done much. Last week, what was it? Evans was ejected, but Chris Godwin and Julio out to begin with, and he didn't even do anything. So Russell Gage, I'm benching. Jarvis Landry is not a terrible start, but again, I don't want to touch a Saints O player at all. Chase Claypool, bench. Robbie Anderson, bench. Let's go to the part where you guys know how I do. 1 through 10. Best 3 players, you have to go Cooper Kupp the way he's playing. Jeez. All these names are amazing. The receivers this year, I feel like are just insane. Like absolutely insane. Honestly, I feel like I can't even tell you just 3 only because Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, Brown, Adams, Chase, Diggs, Hill, Samuel, St. Brown. The worst player there is Mike Williams. Like he's the only one I'm not starting with absolute like confidence just because Mike Williams can appear and disappear like that. So I'm gonna make an exception and say 5 players, I guess, because you're starting all of them anyway. It doesn't, you know what? Start all of them. I'm not even gonna do the 3 players. Start all of them, except if I had to pick an odd man now, it's gonna be Mike Williams. 11 through 20, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle. I would say I'm starting Cortland Sutton with confidence. Jalen Waddle, and if Michael Pittman plays, you have to go Michael Pittman, or you could even go T. Higgins. Drake London's been killing it too, though. Christian Kirk's been killing it too. Honestly, receivers in general, man, they just been absolutely killing it. Put a gun in my head though when I had to name 3 players. I'm gonna say Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, and Christian Kirk. Yeah, I'm honestly, yeah, that's what I would say. 21 through 30, Rashad Bateman, Michael Thomas, and probably Curtis Samuel. 31 through 40, we are gonna go Tyler Lockett, Johan Dodson, Garrett Wilson. As much as I love Elijah Moore, he's got to do something. Julio Jones, easy 41. Devontae Smith, easy 42. And then I would go Treylon Burks, 3. So yeah, that's receivers. Honestly, are just flat out good. Like a lot more better names and a lot more steady and consistent productions than running backs. Granted, it's only been 2 weeks, but I like a lot of those names. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. The way I do these ranking videos, I know it can be, I guess, a little much at times because there's a lot of names, but I want to give you guys as much names as possible. If you have any questions, like who should I start over who, if you want a specific question answered, feel free to comment down below. I haven't seen any comments yet, and I do check them, so that's not a bad thing. But like I said, I don't care who you are or what kind of question you have, I will answer it. So yeah, without further ado, I should say thank y'all for watching. This has been Ollie Been Different, On We've Been Different, and we out.